Alyssa.
Hi, Jordan. How are you?
I am doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great as well. I see you have a very special book behind you.
Yes,
I'm
it
so
is
excited.
it's the very first copy of Marzipan's First Christmas. It's so surreal just looking in the camera and seeing it sitting next to me, just all the months of work and it's just crazy to have it here. I'm very excited.
I'm so excited to ask you more about your book and about the whole process. I seriously cannot wait. I'm so excited. But
Yeah.
before we get into that, let's quickly do our little, whatever we call it, our
Yep.
jingle, our mission statement, and then we'll just jump right in.
Maybe next year in a few months we'll actually have a jingle.
That would be great.
Yes. That'd be
Or at
fun.
least to have this pre-recorded or something.
Yeah. Oh, that's a thought. There you go.
Mhm.
All right, here we go. Welcome to Books and Bindings. My name is Jordan Nyland.
And my name is Alyssa Zavalianos. This is a space where we chat about reading, writing, and the faith that binds us as friends and as Christians.
We want to exemplify Christ in everything we say and do. We hope that our conversations are encouraging in your walk as a reader, writer, and believer.
Let's start chatting.
Let's do it. Well, what are you drinking? Do you have a drink today?
I do have a drink. I have lemon ginger tea. I know last month I was drinking hot chocolate, so I went back to tea. What about you?
Nice.
Are you drinking anything?
It's really hot. I live on the third floor, so it's really hot right now. So I'm drinking a nice cold glass of Coke.
That's your favorite beverage, right?
Mhm.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm surprised you remember that. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I have I remember really weird details about different things, but like if you were to ask me how to get like from what highway to the next, I couldn't tell you. So
I'm very directionally challenged.
yeah, same. Um, so today's Books and Bindings chat is super, super special. As we mentioned, as we first jump right into this video, that we mentioned Jordan's book behind her. So Jordan, your book is beautiful.
Thank you.
Marzipan looks so cute and fluffy and sweet. So we're just gonna have a little interview and talk to you about your book, the process, everything, just writing in general, everything about Marzipan's First Christmas, and maybe things that I don't have questions for that you just want to add. Just gonna hit all the points today.
I'm excited. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Thank you for wanting to answer these questions and tell our 33 viewers, and hopefully more, about your upcoming release. So we're just gonna dive right in.
All right.
So the first question I have is, tell us about Marzipan's First Christmas. What is it about?
Yeah, so this is my children's book, and it is about a bunny who is abandoned, and a husband and wife find her outside their home on Christmas Eve. So they take her in, and the whole book is just about her discovering Christmas for the first time, and about the love that she kind of feels for the first time on her first Christmas.
It's so sweet and so special. And as someone who got to read it early, I thought the story was so perfectly done, and the illustrations just really add to it. So it's
Thank
really
you.
sweet. Very, very
Yeah,
sweet.
thank you. My illustrator, Jess Burcham, she's absolutely amazing. Um I knew that I had a specific vision in my mind of what I wanted my characters to look like. So actually this is based on a true story. So in 2021, a week before Christmas, my husband and I found this abandoned pet rabbit outside our home, and we took her in and we were like, it's a Christmas miracle, we have to keep her. And so it's really fun to have made a book off of that experience and turning kind of a negative situation into a positive one, and a really, really sweet one. And so because the real life Marzipan, she's real, so I had a specific image in mind. I needed her personality captured in a specific way. And so I found, actually, Jess was one of the first ones that I found, the first illustrators, but I was like, oh, there's no way that I can get her. She's too good. She works for this really cool company called Bunnies by the Bay in Washington State. And I was like, oh, I would be shooting for the stars if I reached out to her. I'll try a couple other people. So I reached out to a couple other illustrators who were really good, but just didn't capture really what I wanted. And those fell through. So I was like, oh, I'll reach out to Jess. And amazingly, she said yes. And she was just absolutely amazing in bringing my vision to life. Every illustration is so stinking cute.
And I can attest to that because I've seen them all. That's really so cool. I love that you've taken from your real life experience and put that into a story as well. It just adds so much more to it, you know, because it's so personal, and it's really sweet to see, because I've also met the real life Marzipan. It's sweet to see her now in book form, which is just like just such a crazy, cool phenomenon, you know, that
Uh-huh.
that she's kind of gonna be famous.
Yeah. I'm like, Marcy, you're gonna live forever.
It's
You're gonna
true.
go on tour.
So along that same vein, because you've written about Marzipan, and it's based off of real life Marzi, and that you have in your house, um, are the characters also modeled after you and Matt?
Yes, so we have a husband and wife, and they are modeled after us. They don't have a name in the story because we want our readers to kind of, or I want my readers to put. Hello?
Sorry, Jordan.
That
I
was
think
weird.
that
We
was so
froze.
weird. The connection for some reason got unstable. So we're gonna say that again. So you wanted
Okay.
your readers to,
Yes. I
yeah,
wanted my readers to be able to put themselves into the story. So even though my characters aren't named, they do look very similar to my husband and me.
that's very cute. And actually, can we take a sneak peek? Is there a picture on the back perhaps that might,
Yes.
oh
Actually
no.
have so actually I can show you. So this is the cover. It's hardcover. And then on the back is a line from the story.
Oh,
She couldn't stay in one spot on the floor, for Marzipan had never seen Christmas before. So it's told in
perfect.
rhyme, which I had actually, I'll wait until maybe we can talk about that in a little bit. There's so
Yeah.
much I want to share. But yes, I can show you a little sneak peek of what the husband and wife look like. Um,
I don't
yeah.
want you to have to give too many details away. I
Yeah.
forgot what the back image looked like. So I
That's
thought,
okay. I can show you the image from the dedication page.
yes,
Yes,
perfect. So cute.
thank you.
Oh, I love it. Okay. So I think you already answered this question about like what inspired the book, which I can assume it was probably Marzipan. But along that same vein, have you always wanted to write a children's book? And maybe how did finding a bunny on your doorstep inspire this story?
Yeah, I've always wanted to be a writer. Actually, from the very first day I was born, I think my parents would read to me every single day. So I credit a lot of my love for reading and writing to my parents. So it's just something that I've always wanted to do. They help foster that love for reading and writing. So, but I didn't really know that I wanted to write specifically for children until a few years ago. So I always grew up writing stories. Um, I've always dabbled in creative writing. I studied creative writing in college, but it wasn't until a few years ago when I started reading the books that I loved growing up, like Junie B. Jones, Beverly Cleary, Judy Blume, when I realized, whoa, wait a second, these are the stories that made me fall in love with reading to begin with. And so I am not comparing myself to Judy Blume and Beverly Cleary at all. They are legends. But I love the idea of a child opening something that I've written and being inspired to write something of their own. So that's actually why the book is dedicated to young storytellers.
I love that. That's so sweet. And I think it really will inspire a lot of children. I mean, it inspires me. But I think you already know this, but I did pre-order 2 copies, and I'm going to give one to my niece. So she's going to grow up. This might be one of her first stories that she gets to read. So it's just really sweet because it's going to be touching hearts and lives for all ages, even adults too.
Yeah, that was my hope. I think when like with Disney movies, they're targeted for kids, but they're also targeted for the parents. And so I wanted to make sure I was writing a story that not just kids would enjoy, but parents reading to their children would enjoy as well.
I think that you nailed it. It's very relatable through all ages and generations. So
Thank you. It doesn't feel real yet that a child will be reading my story. Like you hope as a writer that, oh, I hope the reader laughs at this part or that they smile at this part, but you really don't know what parts your readers will really respond to. So I have some lines in mind and illustrations in mind that readers might love, but for all I know, it might be something completely different that they're like, oh, I love this part. So that's just really cool to be thinking about too.
Yeah, that's so true. I know you kind of wish you could be a fly on the wall in like everyone's
Yes.
homes and be like, so are you reacting here or here? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
that's
the only thing closest to that that I have right now is my husband. So, but he's not a child. He's 27. Um, and oh, not even 27. His birthday's in a couple weeks. Anyways, tangent. But um, yeah, so I read the story aloud to him. And so it was fun hearing his responses to certain things. And I don't know, it's really crazy to have someone else read your heart. Like, this is my baby. I worked so hard on it. So I hope people like it. But at the end of the day, I'm proud of it. And yeah, we'll see what
that's what
happens.
and that's what truly matters, that you're proud of your work. Because everyone's going to have an opinion, unfortunately and
Yeah,
fortunately, and I'm sure
right.
most people are going to love it. But there are those few people who, have their opinions and things, and everyone has an opinion. Um,
Oh, I'm interrupting you. I have a question for you
yes,
off of
sure.
that. How do
Yeah.
you respond to the negative comments? Do you avoid them altogether? Yeah, how do you go about that?
Yeah, so I think, yeah, so the big reason why I was kind of going off of that was because, speaking from experience, I've had great feedback, which is awesome. It's been encouraging, but I've also had some not so great feedback of, oh, I wish that this was different, or this is cringy. Like, okay, it's just people with their responses, and that's okay. And I've learned to not take it personally and realize, like, you know, I'm very thankful for what I've done. Like, I'm very thankful for the work that I've been able to put out in the world, and I'm proud of it. And because I'm proud of it, and I have nothing to be ashamed of, it's even easier to kind of let it roll off your shoulder, and kind of brush it aside. I would say that now, since I am 2.5, 3 years into publishing, it gets easier. It gets easier to kind of deal with the negative criticism, because honestly, if you were doing everything right and everyone loved it, then I feel like that's when you're doing something wrong. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So
That's a
just,
good point.
yeah, so don't fear negative feedback. Just be prepared for it, and just realize that it's part of the process of being an author. Um, I wouldn't say anticipate people are going to hate it, because that's not true. Your book is beautiful, and I'm literally
Thank
going to
you.
be shocked if anyone doesn't like it, but it's just a fact of life. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Speaking from author to author, it's just everyone has those negative reviews. It'd be silly to think that they don't exist, but don't perseverate or dwell on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's part of the whole growing experience. You kind of, you live and you learn and you just brush it off, if that makes sense.
Mhm. That's encouraging.
Yeah. So it's exciting. It's exciting. So, um, yeah, I'm really excited for when Marzipan's First Christmas enters the world, and then people are going to be opening it up for the first time and going to be sharing it on like social media, or your close friends and family probably send texts, or it's going to be so exciting. You're going to get that feedback.
Mhm.
You're going to be so, like, I can't even explain to you, like, when you release your book in the world for the first time, it's going to be just like you're giving birth.
I'm so excited. Yeah, pre-orders started a few days ago, and
Mhm.
just the feedback I've gotten from the cover alone, like, people haven't read the story, they haven't seen the illustrations inside, and just the feedback I've gotten from that has been so, so positive. And I've had people reach out to me and say, "Oh, can you write this specific thing in the dedication because I want to give it to my son on Christmas?" Like, oh, yes, I will write anything you want me to. That's so precious. It's amazing to think about who's going to be reading it.
Yeah, it's the perfect Christmas story too. Um, that's so sweet, so sweet. So you've already answered about you weren't sure if you always wanted to write children's book until you said 2 years ago or recently. How
Yeah,
recent was
I
that?
would say a few years ago.
Oh,
Mhm.
um, because I feel like for as long as I've known you, you've always wanted to be a writer. So it's really cool to see that your dream is now here. It's in fruition. And so talking about MFC, if we want to give it a little acronym,
Ooh, I like
um, MFC, what did you enjoy most about the writing process for this first book?
that. I would say, hmm, when I started writing it, I had specific scenes in mind. And I actually started writing it not in rhyme form, just in like paragraph form. And I realized it's not, I just could tell that it wasn't clicking. I needed, especially because A Christmas Story, I was thinking 'Twas the Night Before Christmas and how the rhyming, how that's so, um, not the word iconic, that's not what I'm trying to say, but people remember that. And I wanted kind of a bedtime story for children too. And I thought, oh, what if I turn this into rhyme? So I think the most enjoyable part was taking those scenes that I had in my mind and then finding fun ways to turn them into rhymes. That was hard, but really, really fun. When I got the right rhyme and it clicked, I was like, oh, this is so good. And I just got really excited.
That's so cool. And I'm sure it was like a big challenge because you had to probably rework and reword a few things in order for it to actually, like you said, click.
And because it's an illustrated book, I also had to make sure that I had to have the layout of the book in mind as I was writing it. So I had a page count that I had to stick to. And so my story not only had to stick within that page count, but I had to make sure that the illustrations went along with the story, and that it matched up with what words I wanted to have on each page. And so it was a challenge. It felt like a jigsaw puzzle in some ways, but it was a really interesting challenge that I've never had before. So I'm really proud of how it all turned out.
That's great. That's awesome. And so I think you may have already touched upon this, but what do you hope readers will enjoy the most from this book?
Hmm. I think one of the most important things that I had in the back of my mind as I was writing it was I want this to feel cozy and warm and lovely. And I hope that when readers finish reading it, that they feel those things warm and cozy and lovely. And um, that those are the feelings that I have around Christmas time. Christmas was a huge holiday growing up in my family. There's about 25 cousins on my dad's side. And so our Christmas parties would have like 40 people and loud and fun and just so, so fun. And so I wanted that sense of family um, there. So even if people haven't grown up with a close family, or maybe Christmas is a hard time of year for them, it's not a happy time of year, I want them to still feel that sense of love on every page, if that makes sense.
Mhm. And I think you definitely achieved that, especially with your ending and everything being tied together.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah, that's really special. Um, do you have any plans for a sequel or maybe a series or anything in regards to more Marzipan?
I would love that. I if my illustrator's watching this, I hope she I hope she responded positively to my yeah. Um, she's probably like, "Oh, wow."
More work?
I would love that. I have so many different ideas, like Marzipan goes to the beach, Marzipan makes a friend, Marzipan I don't know, there's just so many fun things I could do with it. I think of the biscuit books. Do you remember those?
Yes,
You know,
I
the
do. I read those.
biscuit and like
Yeah.
biscuit takes a bath, or
Yes.
there's so much you could do with this cute little bunny, and just imagining her like on the beach with sunglasses and an inner tube.
Oh,
It's so cute. So yeah, I think one day I would love to have a sequel. I'm just not sure when that is yet. I think I want to ride the like, whew, this is a lot of work. Let me take a breath for a second. But I would love, depending on if readers want a sequel, I would love it.
that's great. I know. I always think sometimes sequels are harder. I don't know if you know what I mean, but like the pressure of like, oh, will it live up to the first book,
Totally.
or or even just like, well, I have any ideas that I can whatever do to make it great. I don't know, anything that you have in your head. But it would be great. It would be really great if you decide to, because I feel like you said, you could do so much with it. So I know I'll eagerly anticipate whatever you decide to do. Because I think it would just be, like you said, I can't get that image out of my head with Marzipan with the sunglasses and the energy, like
Which you
sunscreen or
She's so cute. Yeah, and you actually helped me edit my book, which thank you so much. If I did write a sequel, would you want to help me edit that one?
oh, you know it. I'm your girl.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, you have also helped me edit one of my books too, The Wishing Seed. So, we kind of have this back and forth thing going. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, no, totally hit me up. I'm your girl. I'll totally edit anything you write. Um,
Perfect.
so yeah, okay. So we'll we'll put sequels on the back burner for now. Potentially that will happen. Um, so I actually I'll save this question for the last because I want to still stick with Marzipan. Um, where and how can we purchase a copy of your book?
So right now there are pre-orders available, and the first 50 people will receive this cute little marzipan sticker and a postcard and a bookmark, a double-sided bookmark. You can order pre-orders on my Instagram account. So if you go to my bio, the very first link says pre-order Marzipan's First Christmas. So you can fill out that form. And pre-orders go until August 1st. And then starting September 12th, you can purchase on Amazon.
Awesome. And I'll make sure to link all of that in the description box below or whatever. So our viewers, whoever's watching, you guys can just quickly access the link to Jordan's book, because we want you to get your pre-order goodies, because we know there's only 50 and they're going fast. So we're going to make sure that people can get them and yeah, order your book, which is so great. Okay. So another question. What is something you've learned during this whole publishing process?
Oh boy, haven't I learned?
Doozy.
Um, I had no idea what I was doing. And I think a lot of people will probably say that the first book that they self-published, like I literally had no idea what I was doing. I wrote the book and I was like, okay, now what? And Alyssa, you were so helpful with so many phone calls, FaceTime calls, helping me with lingo and figuring out the timeline of certain things and how to market my book. And yeah, so I don't know if I can boil it down to one thing, except maybe what I learned is that for my second book, I will know more things.
Yes, it's true. He will. And it keeps adding. Like everything you learn just starts to add on top of the other, and you'll be able to help someone else eventually.
I am so thankful for the Instagram writing community. Like they are so supportive, and I've met so many wonderful people, so many people that you've connected me with and people that I've met on my own. And it's one author did reach out to me, and or self-published author, and she said, how did you market your book? And I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like I'm giving my first piece of self-publishing advice, and I feel like I'm such a rookie. So it's really cool. We're all in this together.
Mhm. We are, and there's so much grace with it as well. Like I think we are our own worst critics and our own worst, like we just judge ourselves and like, oh, am I doing it right? Or blah blah blah. And there's of course there's steps and things you want to take to make it look professional, of course, but it's such a learning process for everyone. And there's so much grace that like if something doesn't work out, like not no one really I hate to use the word cares, but like it doesn't really matter. Like there's so much grace and time, and especially with like self-publishing, you set your own everything, timeline. So if you have to tweak it, people are understanding,
Mhm.
and so it's been so cool to watch you grow into this and gain confidence during this whole process, because I know I've been a fly on the wall, so I've helped you a little bit. Um, but I know I've learned so much from other people who've been pouring into me. So it's cool to see it trickle, and now you're helping other people, which is
So
just
cool.
so neat. Um, so, and so we actually only have 10 minutes left. So I want to ask you one last question. And the question is there anything else you'd like us to know about your book that you have not stated yet?
Oh, wow. The pressure's on.
I know.
Um, I think the only thing I would really say is that I just encourage people to write. I think I'm such a perfectionist, and my whole life, I've started and stopped stories, and I always have ideas for books, and it's just hard for me to keep going with the idea because I want every little thing to be perfect. And so just the fact that I have a finished product is a huge release of control over the perfectionist tendencies that I have. And I think, yeah, just the community has been really helpful in reminding me of you can put as much effort as you want into it, but ultimately God is the one who's going to put your book into the hands of who he wants to read it. So I just need to put aside the numbers and the critique and both positive and negative feedback, and ultimately just thank God that I finished a book and that I had the amazing opportunity to even self-publish. So if you're a perfectionist and you're kind of in the same boat as I was and still am, I'm still overcoming those perfectionist things, just keep going and connect with people around you because they want to help you. And it's better to do these things with other people than by yourself.
So encouraging. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for taking the time to answer all these questions. And I feel like I could probably ask you so much more. Um, but I know we're running out of time. So this was great. I love being able to hear more about your heart and hear more about Marzipan's First Christmas. And you're just so encouraging and inspiring and you make me want to write a children's book.
Aw, thanks, Alyssa. You're so sweet.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm very thankful for your friendship and thankful that we have this whole community and that we're part of the same online community, which is so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
it's really fun.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, with that being said, I'm going to, like I said, also put the links down below so people can order your book. And yeah, I think that's a wrap.
Awesome.
All
And
right.
we'll also put my illustrator's information in the description too, so you can check her out.
That's a great idea. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Well, Jordan, I will see you later.
All right. Oh, wait, one more thing.
Oh, yes.
Somebody I did not mention, huge shout out to Victoria Lynn, who formatted this book. Yes, she was extremely helpful in formatting this and getting it to how it looks, formatting wise. So thank you, Victoria. We'll put her information in the description too.
Perfect. Great. So if you guys want her services, yeah, thank you for mentioning that as well.
I would have felt
Um,
so bad.
no, that's okay. We could have also added that too, just in case. So I'm
That's
glad.
true.
But yeah, all right, awesome. Thank you so much, Jordan.
Thanks, Alyssa.
And yeah, I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.